How do you feel when you see a homeless person on the streets?
I feel quite sorry for them, but I also don't have enough money to give them anything. But then I'd rather just not ignore them. I feel sorry.
I feel bad for them. You know, they don't have...
Go on, just carry on.
They don't have the, you know, they're not lucky enough to have the things that we have in a day-to-day life. So it's a bit of a sticky one still.
Grateful I'm not in their situation.
I feel bad. I think everyone feels bad if they see a homeless person on the street. Like, anytime I see a homeless person, I always go and buy them food, because at the end of the day, they can't control their lives right now. It's easy to say, oh, just go and get a job. It's so much more complicated than that. And people just like are so like ignorant of that.
I feel sad and kind of ashamed that we don't have a society and a community that can afford to keep these people on their feet, and they just have to live on the street.
I feel sad and also guilty, but I'm like, I want to give them money, but then are they going to spend it for the right reasons?
I do feel really, really bad for them, but sometimes you think like, what have they done to get themselves here? Even though it may not always be their fault, but I feel like a lot of the time it is.
I've lived here for 2.5 years now. It's like a supported accommodation from people who have had a long-term, unstable, way of life. Mostly homelessness, in and out of institutions and stuff. There's, people here for different reasons. They either have mental health or a physical disability or some sort of addiction problem. Or everyone who's here has kind of issues for the reason them to be in here. So you're supposed to progress. They're supposed to give you a key worker, and they're supposed to do sessions, and they're supposed to help you, and doesn't always go the way it's supposed to go. I'm not here a lot in the day. Like, when I get up, I go out, I'm out all day, and I come back at night time. And the night stuff are different to the day stuff, okay? So there was one worker who used to work here called Charlie, and she herself had been through a life of ups and downs, addiction, mental health and that, and she had done well, got clean, got a job, got a store to sell. And I honestly think she saved my life a couple times. I think just by being there, talking to her at night time, I struggle when it's all deathly quiet and no one's about, and you've got your own thoughts and you have to kind of face that. I struggle. So having Charlie to talk to, honestly, even though it wasn't official or any appointments or anything, honestly, mate, she honestly saved my life more than once. Born in Glasgow, Royal Hospital. I lived in a place called Ridgely in Glasgow till I was about 6. And I moved, I remember, I was young, so I remember a ferry, I remember a train, I remember travelling at night time. And at 6, my mum really didn't tell me too much about what was going on, so I kind of, next day I'm in a different country with people who talk different and all sorts, and I had a lot of family in Glasgow. I had cousins, aunties, uncles. So now I'm in England with just my mum and her two brothers. It was definitely a bit of a strange, bit of a shock, and they didn't really give me a proper explanation about it. I found out later that it's because my dad and mum were going through custody battle and she wasn't doing too well. So she just kind of left without telling anyone and took me with her to England and never told my dad and that where they'd gone. So rather than losing custody battle. Well, it started off not great, you know. She used to drink a bottle of vodka every night. She was quite aggressive and abusive. Like, I got a fair few times she'd pull out the belt or whatever else, and I'd get in trouble for doing stuff. It was hard. She was, you know, when you're 6, a fully grown woman's a giant, you know. So when she's running at you with a frying pan, I'll kill you, you wee bastard. It's scary, man. You're running. So, yeah, I had some ups and downs with my mums, and then the sports teacher at school was kind of saying, "What's this? What's that? Why are you coming? Like, you got bruises, you got this, you got that. You coming over there?" And I think the last straw. I think one Christmas, I stood on the Scale Electric set on Boxing Day, and my mum beat me up for it as usual. And I thought I had enough now, so I walked from the village to the town centre to this little police station. Yeah, I think I'm about 9 or something. Yeah. And I said, my mum keeps beating me up. You're the police. You're supposed to do something. That sort of. And this one undecided. I wasn't keen on the police. He said, "Yeah, you should come with me." And he took me to this door, a little flap on it. He's open the flap. He's got, "Look in there." And I see it was a cell, and there's a woman sat on the bench crying her eyes out there. And I looked through the flap and was like, "Oh shit." He says, "Do you want that to be you in there?" I said, "No." He said, "Well, stop telling stories and go home." Yeah, so that was. You cope. Now you've lost your leg, like they say, I couldn't cope. I don't know if I was in your position, like what. And funny as it sounds, like I said, I know it sounds mad, but it might be one of the best things that has ever happened to me is losing my leg, because the direction my life was going and the things I was doing and the agony I was waking up every morning when I had the frame on my leg, it was ridiculous. And I think when I woke up in hospital minus the leg, and I woke up and I wasn't in pain, like, it was relief. I felt relief. And I know when you say to most people, "How did you feel when you woke up with no leg?" Well, I suppose the last thing you expect them to say is relief, you know. But that's how bad it got. Like, that's how bad the pain was every morning. And I think really, really and truly, if I hadn't lost my leg, which has made me stop and properly look at my situation, you know, I've had a lot of times to think about my life and where it's been and where it's going and that. I think without losing my leg, I may well have continued down a bad path and it may have ended really badly. So I know it sounds crackers, but I think losing my leg's probably one of the best things that could happen to me. Alright, so drinking drugs I started very young when I was 11, when I went to children's homes, and it's been a battle. Say, you know, times of clean, times of being addicted. I think at the time I lost my leg, I was proud of myself. I was clean at the time when I lost it, but then the pain and the opiate painkillers I was taking, the medication and that, so I kind of slipped back into addiction while I had the frame on my leg and stuff. And then I'm not drinking now, and although I do smoke weed, it's a lesser of a lot of evils for me, you know. I've done a lot worse. I've struggled with addiction to a lot worse than weed, and to be able to touch wood, say that I'm all right now, you know, I'm kind of proud of that. No one's perfect, yeah. I mess up every now and then, yeah. Who doesn't? But this year I've done really well. I've stopped a lot of bad things that I used to do, and I think I'm really progressing. And I don't think I would have been doing this, if I'd still had my leg, I think it would have gone wrong somewhere, I would have relapsed and that. But I think at the minute, touch wood, sober of alcohol, and I know weed technically is a drug, but you know, I'm pretty much clean of drugs and I'm sober of alcohol. But that's been a fucking hard road, man. Like really. Pretty sure. And you go to the King's Arms Church, and straight away when I heard that, I thought of the King's Arms Project, because they house homeless people and stuff like that. So, and I know the people that run the project are also involved with the church. So at first I got it a bit wrong. I thought you was part of the King's Arms Project, not just the church. But that was our little connection, wasn't it? And it started us talking at Tesco. I remember you was asking me to believe in God, and you wanted to do a prayer for me, and that was nice. And I think we just kind of clicked and got on from there. And I think most times whenever I see you at Tesco, you're always really nice. You're always like, do you want a drink? Do you want this? Do you want that? And I feel like there's not many genuine people, and I feel like even Mia, she's a bit shy, but she's very genuine, isn't it? Like you can see, she means what she says. She's not false. She's a good one, yeah. So I think from just seeing you at Tesco, the two of you being like that, I think obviously, you grew on me a little bit, man. You know. No, without no mushy stuff, I quite like kids.
That's a brilliant way.
Hi, my name's Lisa Ratu. I coordinate the F&M, or Friday night meal. It's here at the Tavistock Street in Bedford. The project has been running for almost 30 years, and it serves people that are either homeless or vulnerably housed in the area. Each week we have a hot meal that we serve. People come in here, they come for community, they come to have genuine conversations, and just to meet lots of different people. We have a range of volunteers. We have an A team that does one week and a B team that does the other week. There's no rivalry, of course, with those teams. But no, we really enjoy just serving people. We're based in King's Arms Church, but we have people helping from HSBC, and friends of friends come along to help. And for us as well, it's a real meeting place and a real community. The evening, we start with tea and coffee and biscuits. They all get some fruit as well. We've got people that will sit and talk to people, find out how they're getting on. We've got a board for them to access various services that might not know about. So, for example, the local food banks, we flag up when they're on. We've got someone here this evening from Pathway to Recovery, so we try and link up agencies as well. People can help them with addiction. We link up with the winter night shelter that's run with the King's Arms Project. So we try and link with as many different agencies as we can, provide a hot meal, conversation. At the end we have a little talk as well. We try and offer people guidance if they're struggling with accommodation. We try and be as holistic as possible, and just enjoy just being a friendly face to people that come. I got involved about just over two and a half years ago as a volunteer, and have since last year taken over coordinate it. So something that's close to my heart, something that I'm passionate about as well.